Divide using the standard algorithm. 12 doesn't fit into 1, but it does fit into 19. 19 minus 12 is 7. Bring down the 2. 12 fits into 72 6 times, with nothing left over. Ryan divides 17.4 by 1.2. His work is shown. Does Ryan's answer make sense? Well, let's think about it. This says that 1.45 sets of 1.2 would make 17.4. If we were to approximate, 17.4 is about 17, and 1.2 is about 1. So our answer should be closer to 17 than 1.45. So perhaps his decimal is in the incorrect location. He might want 1.4.5 instead of 1.45. So he may need to move his decimal over to make this make sense. It looks like he used the correct numbers. 4 times 12 would be 48. 5 times 12 would be 60. So it looks like he has the correct digits, but his place values don't line up with what the answer should be. So today's lesson is all about dividing by decimals greater than 1, such as 1.2. In the previous lesson, we looked at how the quotient changes based on the dividends and divisors. Well, you can see here that this has a place value smaller, and then this also is one place value smaller. They move the decimal 2 place values and 2 place values here. So these are equivalent to each other. Then they move that decimal 1 to the left and 1 to the left for this expression. So those are equivalent. And they moved these to the left and to the left to get this expression. So every single one of these expressions are equivalent to each other. For problems 1 through 3, write the division expression as the division of two whole numbers, then divide. So if we want to turn this into a whole number, we would need to move the decimal to the right 1 place value. But to keep it an equivalent expression, we need to move this invisible decimal to the right as well. So this would say 60 divided by 12. I like to think of it in terms of a fraction. This would be 6 over 1.2. And to create an equivalent fraction, we multiply by the same number on the top and on the bottom. 6 times 10 is 60. 1.2 times 10 is 12. Once we have our expression, then we divide. 60 divided by 12 is 5. To change these into whole numbers, we need to move to the right 1 spot and to the right 1 spot. So this would be 45 divided by 15. 15 fits into 45 3 times. Down here, we needed to move this 2 spots to turn it into a whole number. So this one should be 2 spots as well. That is 525 divided by 250. $250 doesn't fit into 5 or 52, but it fits into 525 twice. 2 sets of 250 is 500. When we subtract, we get 25. There's a decimal here, so we need a decimal here. Bring down that 0, and 250 fits into 250 exactly 1 time. So our answer should say 2.1. So let's take a look at his work again. How could we correct it? Well, if we move this to the right 1 spot to turn it into 12, we need to move this 1 spot to turn it into 174. 12 fits into 17 once, giving us 5. Oops. 12 fits into 54 4 times. 14 minus 8 is 6. There's a decimal there. Bring down the 0. 12 fits into 60 5 times. 50, 60. So it should be 14.5 instead of 1.45. For problems 4 through 7, write the decimal division expression as an equivalent expression with a whole number divisor. That's this piece. We don't necessarily need a whole number for the dividend. Then estimate the quotient and use the standard algorithm to divide. So this is 3 parts. First, we change it so this is a whole number. We move to the right 1 spot. We have to do the exact same thing with the dividend. So our expression is 392 divided by 49. Our estimate. Well, I would approximate that this is about 400 divided by 50. And 50 would fit into 400 8 times. Now we are going to do the division using the standard algorithm or long division. $49 doesn't fit into 3 or 39, but it does fit into 392. This is about 50. So if we went 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, that's around 7 of them. 7 times 9 is 63. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 6 more. 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. We will need to regroup. 12 minus 3 is 9. 8 minus 4 is 4. So it looks like since 49 can fit into 49 that I need to try a bigger number here. Let's try, like I said, 8. Nine times 8, that's 72. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 7 more is 39. So that's an 8. 392 leaves us with 0. So our final answer is 8. Notice how when my remainder was the same size as my divisor or larger, I had to reevaluate. I couldn't put a 7 there. I had to change it so that it fit the maximum amounts of 49. So our final answer there is 8. Number 5. Remember, we are just changing the divisor to a whole number, not the dividend. So I move 1 spot to the right, 1 spot to the right. This is 348.4 divided by 67. Now, approximating this is around 350, and this is around 70. 70, well, 7 fits into 35, 5 times. So 70 would fit into 350 around 5 times. So that can be our estimate. And now we have to do the long division. 67 doesn't fit into 3 or 34, but it does fit into 348. If I count by sevens, that would be 7, 14, 21, 28. So I'm thinking it'll be about 4 of these. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 2 more makes 26. 34 minus 26. I think it can fit one more time. How about 5? 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 3 more makes 33. 8 minus 5 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. Bring down the 4, so that was a 5 I should put there, with the decimal lined up. Oops. 67. I'm guessing this is around 2 of them, because 6 times 2 would be 12. And here I have a 13 in the front. 2 times 7 is 14. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 1 more makes 13. So put the 2 on the top. That leaves me with 0. Here we need to move the decimal 1 spot to the right to get the divisor to be a whole number, and 1 spot to the right for the dividend to create an equivalent expression. Now it's 116.1 divided by 86. This is approximately 120 divided by 90. That's not super simple to work with, so I might try a different approximation here for numbers that are easy to divide by. So instead of using 90, I might approximate that this is closer to 80, even though it's 86. I might use an 80 because 8 would fit into 120 once, and then half of 80 is 40, so that would give me 120. So this approximation would say 1.5. Technically, 86 is closer to 90, but I used 80 because it's easier to divide 120 by 80 than by 90. And now we are using our long division. 86 does not fit into 1 or 11, but it does fit into 116 one time. 6 minus 6 is 0. 11 minus 8 is 3. Bring down that 1. If I counted by 8s, or I could think of this as it's closer to 90, I could count by 9s and try and get close to 30. 9, 18, 27. So that's around 3 of them. 3 times 8 is, 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 more makes 25. And that was 3. That was 10, but then I had to turn it into a 9 to get an 11 here. 11 minus 8 is 3. 9 minus 5 is 4. Bring down a 0. Let's try multiplying by 5. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 8 is 40. Plus 3 more makes 43. So our final answer was 1.35. For this one, we need to move the decimal 2 spots to get the divisor to turn into a whole number. We need to move this one 2 spots as well. Our equivalent expression now says 38.08 divided by 112. Now, this is around 40, and 112 is around 120. Well, 40 fits into 120 3 times, so this is around a third, which is the same as 0.3 repeating. So it should be somewhere around 0.3. $112 doesn't fit into 3 or 38, but it does fit into 380 3 times. 3 100s would be 300, and 3 12s would be 36. 10 minus 6 is 4. 7 minus 3 is 4. 3 minus 3 is 0. Bring down that 8. 100 would fit into 400 4 times. And 4 12s would be 48. So it is 0.34. 8. To calculate 3.69 divided by 1.2, Lacey writes the division expression as 369 divided by 12. Explain her mistake. We would move the decimal 1 place here, so we would need to move it 1 place here. It should be 36.9 divided by 12. So she moved the decimal 2 spots in the dividend, but only 1 place for the divisor. You could also think of this as she multiplied 3.69 times 100, but she only multiplied 1.2 by 10. They have to be multiplied by the same number, so this would need to be multiplied by 100, which would give us 120 instead of 12. To keep it equivalent expressions, you have to multiply by the same number or move the decimal the same number of places. To calculate 45.8 divided by 4.16, Leo sets up the work as follows. Explain Leo's mistake. He moved the decimal 2 spots to get 416, but he did not move this decimal at all. So his dividend should say 45.8 times 100. He needs to move that decimal 2 spots, which would give him 4,580 instead of 45.8. He needs to change this by moving it over twice. Jada calculates 8.65 divided by 25 2.5 as 34.6 by doing the following work. Explain Jada's mistake. It looks like she moved this decimal to the right one spot and this decimal to the right one spot. So those are in the correct location. 25 times 3 is 75, but 25 doesn't fit into 8 3 times. It's into 86 3 times. So her 3 should be placed here instead of here. Did she do her subtraction correct? 6 minus 5 is 1. 8 minus 7 is 1. Bring down that 5. That looks good. 25 times 4 is 100, but that should be lined up with the 5, not with the 6. 115 minus 100 is 15. And they bring down that 0, and it fits in there 6 times. So it should be, it's not there, 3.46, not 34.6. So her mistake was that she lines up her quotient in the wrong position. Jada does not line up the quotient in the correct location or correct place. The answer should be 3.46. I need to bump that over to the right. Toby calculates 0.084 divided by 2.4 as 0.35 by doing the following work. Explain Toby's mistake. I would move this to the right one spot and to the right one spot. So it looks like he has these values correct. 24 does not fit into 0 and it doesn't fit into 8, so far so good. 24 fits into 84 3 times, that looks good, but his decimal should still be located right above, lined up, so it should be 0.3035. Make sure your warm-up is finished and your workbook is filled in for lesson 22.